What's going on, everyone? So tomorrow is officially preseason. We have Lakers basketball returning, and the Lakers are going to take on the Golden State Warriors. And as of right now, there is no word on whether or not Anthony Davis will be playing in tomorrow's game. I wouldn't be shocked at all if he doesn't play. Talked about this the last few days, that it's very likely Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and Austin Reaves do not play against Golden State. And even on Golden State side, I would be surprised if Chris Paul, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson play. Draymond Green is already out with injury. He's supposed to miss 4 to 6 weeks, something like that. So we will see. And even if they do play their starters, it'll be very light, right? But we have word, and it's official, that LeBron James and Austin Reaves are both out of tomorrow's game. So we had confirmation that LeBron James was out and was going to miss tomorrow's game. Now we have confirmation with Austin Reaves. Now, Austin Reaves, I fully expected. I've talked about that just because the Lakers, this entire process, have been very cautious with Austin Reaves. Even LeBron's training camp, Reaves played very minimal. He was kind of just on the sidelines for the most part. And then even in training camp, they've been kind of going really light on him, primarily because he played so many games and so many minutes the last, 3 months leading up to this. So obviously he was in the playoffs going into the Western Conference Finals, and then from there jumped right into Team USA and their training camp and then their practices and then playing in all the FIBA games, the exhibition games, and then of course the actual games for the season. Or for that FIBA season, right? Now he's got to jump right into training camp and then go through training camp and then jump into preseason games and then regular season games. It's something that it's a lot of wear and tear. I know Austin Reaves, he doesn't have the mileage, right? And he doesn't have a lot of the things that, somebody like LeBron. Yeah, he's in year 21, but he might as well be in year 50 with all just the miles that he has on his legs and his body. Where Austin Reaves, he's a guy that, he's going into year 3, he didn't really play super heavy till last season, and even towards the back half of last season, where he really emerged and then was playing heavy minutes. But then go from that to FIBA to now we're in the NBA season. It's just not worth it right now, especially in preseason games that don't really matter, right? And this also gives Darvin Ham and the Lakers a good look and a good opportunity for the other guys, right? Let's see what a Christian Wood, Max Christie, Cam Reddish, Jackson Hayes, all of those guys, Gabe Vincent, what are they capable of? What can they do? What do lineups with those guys look like? Because that's what preseason is. It's all about the trial and error, working out different lineups, getting different looks, throwing out different sets. Does this unit work well? Does this unit work well? How does this unit look? Is this worth putting out there? And you will really get to see that during the preseason. Especially, it's not as, teams are out there competing, but again, it's limited, right? Compared to a regular season game and then especially a playoff game. So if a unit doesn't look good in preseason, why is that? Is it because it was just a bad game for these guys, or is it because this lineup just doesn't work? Well, when you get a handful of game sample size, well, now that gives you a really good idea. And plus, it just gives those guys reps and opportunity to display what they're capable of, and as they try to work in for their rotation, right? Because that's the thing about this Lakers roster with Darvin Ham. He's really going to have to figure out and really have to navigate all of just the ins and outs with this roster. It's wonderful that this roster is so deep, so talented, so versatile. But with that, you have a lot of guys with a lot of expectations of playing X amount of minutes and finding out which guys work the best, right? And as far as the Lakers starters go, I don't think that there is this huge need to play them anything majorly significant. I mean, we already saw what they're capable of with a one-legged LeBron, a one-legged AD, and a one-legged D'Angelo Russell. They were able to get to the conference finals, right? So what did that look like healthy? We'll get to see. And look, I fully expect them to start playing at some point during this preseason. LeBron's talked about he wants to play at least half of the preseason games. And Austin Reaves, he would play every game if he could, right? But it's it's up to the organization, and he's not going to really push back too much, especially for preseason games. If this was the playoffs or the regular season, then of course he'd be like, no, you're not keeping me out of this game. So we'll see how these other guys really look coming forward, and then especially that last preseason game, I fully expect, because that's usually the curtain call. That's usually, the dress rehearsal leading into the actual regular season. That's when you want to start kind of hashing things out, running different sets, running different looks, and seeing how these guys perform with the starting unit, and then different looks with like Reaves and with the bench unit and things like that. But, Austin Reaves is going to play a huge role for the Lakers this year, right? He's very likely going to be one of, if not the most important guys, not named LeBron James and Anthony Davis. He's going to play a lot on the ball. He's going to play a lot off the ball. Obviously, he's starting. We have the same starters as last year, it looks like. That fifth spot seems to be up in the air. Based on reports, Darvin Ham knows who he's going to start. He's just not revealing that yet. But it seems to be somewhere between Rui, Jared Vanderbilt, and Taurean Prince. I gave my opinions, but just to summarize for somebody that may not be familiar, I think that they should go with Jared Vanderbilt. I just think you want to keep the continuity of last season. Top of keeping the continuity of last season, I just think he rounds out the starting unit so much better with, an Austin Reaves and D'Lo who, they have some defensive liabilities at times, and then it just puts so much pressure on Anthony Davis. And then LeBron James, we've seen him take possessions off, times up. How many times did we see last season him not even go and close out, put a hand up? That could become a problem, and you just don't want to run into that risk of just like, yeah, we can score a bunch of points, but we got to be able to stop the other team too. And then, Rui, I'm not really a fan of Rui in the starting lineup because I feel like what's going to happen with him, with D'Lo, Reaves, LeBron, and AD, he's just going to kind of be relegated to being a 3-and-D type player, and that's not really his game. Where if he's on the bench and he's coming off the bench, now he can be one of the primary scorers off the bench with him and Christian Wood. I just think that that's a much better approach for the Lakers. And then Taurean Prince, I think, is a great idea as well, right? If Jared Vanderbilt isn't giving you the 3-point production that you need, then I think having a Taurean Prince, yes, he's not elite defensively like Jared Vanderbilt is, but he's good enough to kind of round out that roster, but also give you, 38 to 40% from 3-point range. It's kind of my thought there. But again, Austin Reaves is going to be very impactful, very important this season. So you want him as healthy as possible. You want all your guys as healthy as possible, right? So if you don't need to overwork Reaves, then why would you? Especially for preseason games, right? But in general, don't be shocked if Anthony Davis doesn't play. Right? Like, I really don't think he plays. And if he does, he's probably very limited. I would be surprised if he plays more than 10, 15 minutes if he plays at all, because they're really going to want to kind of manage guys. And again, let's get weird a little bit here in the preseason time, right? Let's see what different lineups and different looks look like, right? What does, X, Y, and Z unit look like? Let's go with the all 6'8" lineup. Let's go with Jackson Hayes and Christian Wood out there. Like, what does that look like? Let's go with Cam Reddish and Max Christie and maybe JHS and, kind of have the young guys out there and just kind of run and gun a little bit, right? Like, all of those things I think are very important to get kind of under your belt going into the regular season. But we'll see. Time will tell. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you think, makes sense, no reason to push or try to press Reaves and have him play heavy minutes? Do you think, no, he should be out there at least, a handful of minutes, something like that? I think that all of these guys should kind of be out there for a handful of minutes, right? Even though it's preseason, it would be nice to kind of have guys even just play 10 minutes, see what the starting unit looks like, get some reps, things like that. I understand that argument, but again, it's preseason. You don't need to really overexert or, go too ham, no pun intended, with the starting unit. But, I think the last preseason game or two, that's where you really want to kind of put your chips to the table, kind of get everybody going, getting everyone locked in and focused, start, the dress rehearsal leading into the actual regular season, stuff like that. Now you're kind of putting your best foot forward to try to compete. And look, it's championship or bust this year. The Lakers have the talent, they have the roster, they have the stars, they have the versatility, they have the size, they have everything that they need to weather this season, which is a very long season, get into the playoffs healthy, and then I think that they can compete with anybody, right? I mean, they have the deepest team in the entire league, right? So let's go show it, let's go win it. But I'm pumped, I'm excited, I can't wait to see Lakers basketball tomorrow. So again, love your thoughts and opinions, so let me know down in the comments.